was nearly midnight when the last bus passed the glass-fronted office building, its headlights sweeping briefly across the empty reception before vanishing into the fog. Inside, the faint hum of fluorescent lights echoed in the silence, interrupted only by the rhythmic tapping of a single keyboard. Kritchai leaned closer to his screen, eyes stinging from hours of data entry. The rest of the accounting department had gone home hours ago, leaving him as the lone inhabitant of the 8th floor. This wasn't unusual for him. He often volunteered for overtime to earn a little extra money, but tonight the air felt heavier, the shadows longer, as if the building itself was aware of his presence. He told himself it was just fatigue, but deep down he knew this night was different. The elevator dinged softly somewhere in the distance. Kritchai froze, his fingers hovering above the keyboard. He hadn't called for it, and no one else was supposed to be here. The sound of the doors sliding open echoed down the hall, followed by the faint click of shoes against the polished floor. He leaned back in his chair, straining to listen. "Hello," he called, his voice sounding unnaturally loud in the stillness. No answer. The footsteps stopped abruptly, and a cold draft seemed to sweep into the room, raising goosebumps along his arms. He shook his head, telling himself it was the building's ventilation system, but he could feel eyes on him, watching from somewhere unseen. He decided to finish the report quickly and leave, but as his fingers moved across the keyboard, a faint reflection in his monitor caught his attention. Behind him, in the glass wall that separated the office from the hallway, there was the shadow of a woman. Long hair, head tilted slightly, standing unnervingly still. His chair squeaked as he spun around, but the hallway was empty. His pulse quickened, and a chill ran down his spine. He turned back to the screen, only to find that the document he had been working on was now blank. Every page had been erased, replaced by a single line of text. "Why are you here?" Kritchai's breath caught in his throat. He quickly closed the file, thinking it was some sort of cruel prank, but when he reopened it, the same message stared back at him. A faint whisper brushed against his ear, so soft he almost thought he imagined it. "Leave," it said. He pushed back from his desk, his chair rolling slightly on the floor, and stood. That was when he noticed something even stranger. The office clock above the door wasn't moving. The second hand was stuck, frozen at exactly 11:44 p.m. Trying to calm his racing heart, he decided to pack his things and head straight for the elevator. But as he stepped into the hallway, the overhead lights began to flicker, casting long, shifting shadows along the walls. At the far end, where the hallway turned toward the elevators, he saw her again, a woman in a faded office uniform, her head lowered, her hair obscuring her face. She didn't move, but something about her stillness made the air feel suffocating. He took a step forward, and the lights above him buzzed angrily, then went out completely. He fumbled for his phone, its glow barely illuminating the hallway. The woman was gone. Gathering his courage, he hurried toward the elevators, but when the doors slid open, they revealed not the bright interior of the lift, but darkness so deep it seemed to swallow the light from his phone. The faint smell of damp earth drifted toward him, and he thought he heard something moving inside. His instincts screamed at him to take the stairs, so he turned, only to find that the stairwell door at the end of the hall was gone, replaced by an unbroken stretch of wall. Panic clawed at his chest. He called out again, louder this time, his voice cracking. The silence that followed was worse than any reply. Then came the sound, the slow, deliberate tapping of heels on tile, growing closer. His phone flickered and died, plunging him into complete darkness. He pressed his back against the wall, straining to see. The tapping stopped. Then a whisper impossibly close. "Stay with me?" Suddenly, cold hands clamped onto his shoulders. He yelped and spun around, but there was no one there. The hallway was faintly lit again, though the light seemed wrong, too dim and tinted with a sickly yellow hue. The office doors on either side were gone, replaced with rusted metal panels, some bent and broken, revealing darkness beyond. This wasn't his office anymore. He realized with a sickening jolt that the building around him had changed, transformed into some decayed version of itself. Story continues building tension with detailed supernatural events. Kritchai uncovering the ghost's backstory, a woman named Molly, who died while working late, trapped between time and reality. The haunting intensifies. Objects move on their own, shadows whisper, and Kritchai is pulled deeper into the overtime realm where the clock never moves past 11:44 p.m. He must find a way to appease Molly's spirit before the hour strikes in this ghostly dimension, or risk becoming another trapped soul. The story reaches a chilling climax where he realizes Molly wasn't asking him to leave. She was warning him to escape before the building seals him in forever. He finally breaks free at dawn, but the final scene reveals his office clock still frozen at 11:44, hinting he never truly left. Kritchai's breaths came in ragged bursts as he stumbled backward, his shoes scraping against the warped tiles of a hallway. Every instinct in him screamed to run, but his legs felt as heavy as stone. Somewhere in the distance, beyond the twisting shadows, he heard the faint clatter of typing keys, slow, deliberate, and out of sync, like someone pressing each letter with unnatural precision. Drawn by equal parts fear and morbid curiosity, he followed the sound, his footsteps echoing far too loudly in a stale air. The corridor stretched longer than it should, bending slightly as if the building itself was rearranging its bones to keep him inside. The typing grew louder, and then, without warning, stopped. He rounded the final bend and froze. The accounting office was there, but not as he remembered it. The desks were splintered and water-stained, filing cabinets lay overturned, and the walls were covered with peeling wallpaper that seemed to breathe in and out.